Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition, and we usually focus on Altcoin Alert. I'm having trouble connecting with Altcoin Alert, so my new unofficial host Elaine's going to help us out with that. But I do have a couple setups from this morning that I'll go over, and then we'll look at a couple others through Elaine's screen. So for now, we'll look at the market overall. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart. Okay, you guys should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yep.
All right, thank you. And a little disappointing, we did dip down this week, but we stayed well within the range towards the top of it, so that's good news. We bumped up against 24.4 a couple times earlier in the week, over the weekend, and then I think on Monday and Tuesday. But then we dropped down, into the 22.5 range. Had a nice recovery today, over 23,000, so we're pleased to see that. And I'd like to break through this resistance we have here at 24.4. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that over the weekend and have it hold early next week, but that's our short-term goal. Not seeing any cutting edge news. I would usually look at this ahead of time, but I was struggling with my Altcoin Alert connection, as I mentioned before. I didn't have time. So does anybody have any news or anything they want to talk about regarding Bitcoin? Okay, we'll go over to Ethereum, which has had a better recovery than Bitcoin. Got the lower part of the range at $1,000, and 1740 is the top of this range. And I might need to move the bottom up to about 1430, because it's really been above that, for over 2 weeks now. So might narrow that range on my Monday Zoom. But for now, I'll go ahead and leave it as is. It's pretty broad, over 70%. But Ethereum's had a nice recovery, pushing 17K or 1700. And, it's looking good. So I think the 2.0 news from a week or so ago is probably keeping this going. Ethereum being the most useful of the cryptos makes it one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites to day trade and scalp. So any questions or comments on the market overall, Bitcoin and Ethereum? Okay. Still a blank screen on Altcoin Alert for me. So there were two I looked at this morning with my long-term sentiment sorts. I didn't have any AA scores that I liked, nothing above 80. So I did the long-term sentiment sort, and I looked at Zcash and Avax. I'll go ahead and show you those charts now. Let's see, I'm on the 5-minute here on Zcash. Let's go to the day chart. Get rid of these old drawings. And this had a big drop. It had a big pump earlier this year in March, went over $200. And this is a privacy coin. So it seems like when Bitcoin security and privacy issues come up in the news, Zcash tends to pump. So anyway, it's down over 60%, 75% into mid-July, but it has been moving up since then. Okay, on the hour, we had this move from Monday. So it's up 16.5% since Monday, a little dip, and then trending back up again on the hour chart. On the 5-minute, I don't trade this one that much, because it doesn't move as much as the other altcoins, generally speaking. I mean, from this dip sequence here, to the SMA line's only a 1.5%. For that kind of move, I'm usually looking for 2 to 3% at the minimum. That's why I like the iCoin Pro Buddy Coin Crawler for to find coins like that. It's had a decent move. I wouldn't 1.5% still pretty good day trade. So I'm not gonna be critical of it, but usually there are better options than that. Regardless, on the 5-minute charts towards the top of the Bollinger Band, not really a good entry. Also, we're at some short-term resistance. You can see multiple times today it's hit the 68, nearly $69 zone and been rejected. So it's really not a good entry. So I went to my 15-minute chart this morning, and I went with the MFI, money flow index indicator alert. I didn't look at divergence. But here's a pretty good entry on divergence. You might recall divergence is the disagreement between the indicators and the price action. We have bullish divergence when the price is trending down, but the indicator is going up. And I like this multiple divergences indicator. You can find it here on Trading View and among the indicators, divergences from any indicators. Make sure you use version 4. It's the most recent, the most useful. A lot of people like it, over 13,000 downloads. So that would have been good at 9:15, but I went with MFI, and that alert actually did trigger at around 11, but I was busy and I didn't see it, so I missed that. That would have been, 2%, not bad. So kind of whiffed on that one. I might leave that alert running to see if I can catch something tonight or over the weekend. And if you want to set an alert on the divergence indicator, just right click on here. And we want positive divergence in this situation, once per bar close. Make sure you click that. And then I like to put what information source I used, long-term sentiment buy, and then you're good to go. But since I have a different alert, I'm not going to keep this one. I went with the MFI alert because these two prior triggers of the MFI where it went below the 20 and came back up, which is an indication of a recovery from being oversold. There were some pretty good outcomes from that. So probably would have gotten in right about here. And 2.57%. And remember, I do this on the 15-minute chart, not the 5. A lot of times I will go to the 5-minute chart after this alert triggers to see what that setup is, to see if it's a 1, 2, 3 dip or something, pretty close to that. So anyway, 2.57. If I held on longer, it would have been 3%. That's a pretty good day trade. Here's another one that triggered. Would have caught that move. So a really quick 2.5%. I like that. So for that reason, I went with the MFI. You can do the RSI as well. Right click, add your indicator. No, that's not right. Right click and add alert on RSI. If you're more familiar with this one than the MFI, you might want to go that route. Crossing up. We use the 30 value for the RSI for oversold, once per bar close. And again, I'd use long-term sentiment sort. I've been using the MFI mostly lately. It's a little more sensitive. And the structure on that alert's the same. Right click on the MFI, crossing up on the 20, once per bar close, and the source. So, okay, any questions on Zcash? All right, let's go to Avax. This is the other one I looked at this morning. On the day chart, its big move was in November, and we've seen this on a lot of coins this year. 80 to 90% drop since the big pump in November, and then a little bit of a recovery recently. On the hour, Got a dip here on July 26th. So let's try that again. All right, up 30%. Gave most of it back, bounced back up. So this one's been kind of twitchy the last couple of weeks. On the 5-minute, very similar to what we just saw with Zcash. Got some resistance right here, around 24.60, right about where we are now. So I wouldn't want to get in at this point. Plus, I don't like entering at the top of the Bollinger Band on the 5-minute. I prefer, I like those dips. So not really seeing a good dip sequence lately on this one, but so we go to our 15-minute and see what divergence has revealed. That one did not do well. First two had small gains. That's like 0.5%. 0.9. Most of them are small. This MFI recovery did pretty well. Well, not really, not quite 2%. I probably would have been looking for, this. I would use these as this resistance here as my guide. Try to get 2.5%. So I might have caught that wick, but more likely I'd have been in for like a little over a day. Picked up a 2.5% off of the divergence alert that, well, the MFI alert did pretty well here. So that's why I went with that one. Just missed having a trigger this morning at 8:15. And again at 11:45 and 1:30 p.m. just missed it. Sometimes in that situation, instead of going with the 20 value, I'll bump it up to 30, 25 or 30. That's a little riskier, but well, actually it's not so much riskier as you'll lose, some profit as the coin, you get it, your entry position is not quite as low, so you lose some potential profit, but for that peace of mind, I think it's worth it. So we don't have to catch the perfect bottom. We just want to get our piece of the move. Okay, any questions on Avax? All right, well, Elaine, you still with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, you ready to share your screen?
Sure.
How long have you been attending this Zoom?
This Zoom, I might have made a month.
Okay.
I miss the it's pretty. I've had altcoin for a bit, but yeah, I need to. I'm still on a huge learning curve. I mean, I do. I'm one of those persons that wanted to get into many platforms. So I did that for about 6 months, just trying to get money in and understanding the platforms to set alerts like stop losses and take profits and stuff like that, because they're all different. And believe it or not, it's hard to get the money in sometimes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so you should see my screen.
I'm not.
No. Okay, just a sec here. Share.
All right.
Better?
That's better. Okay, let's looks like you have the AA score clicked.
Yeah.
Did you do that recently or do we need to refresh?
No, I just did it.
Okay. I prefer values of 80 and higher on the AA score. I don't usually look at those below, so unfortunately we don't have any AA scores that meet that criteria, so we're going to go to our next sort. So why do you not have long-term sentiment? Okay, you have easy mode on. Go to your left under Altcoin Alert and click that off. All right, there we go. So let's sort by long-term sentiment. Just click on that. All right, so we're going to try to match long-term sentiment, which is what people are talking about on Twitter, word on the street, with Elder Impulse Daily, which is the column to the right, which is a technical indicator. So when the emotions and the technicals line up, that's something we want to investigate further. So far on very bullish, we've got DCR, which I don't know. We have Theta, which I've traded many times. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up a Theta chart. So I'm going to unshare Elaine and go to my screen sharing after I bring up a Theta chart. Okay. All right, you guys should be seeing my Theta day chart. All kinds of crud on it. Okay, Theta. $860. Lost, yeah, big, huge loss. Mostly going sideways lately, but it's trending up a little bit.
Yeah.
Since the 25th, up 40+%. That's really good. And big move today. 5 minute, I think it's going to look like the others we looked at. Super squeezy here between the Bollinger Bands. Yeah, 2%. I'd rather see something more like this, but with a dip sequence, we don't have that at this time. The market has been trending up this afternoon, so that doesn't surprise me. With that in mind, we've got to wait for better entries. So we're going over to our 15-minute chart again. And nothing here really looks good. These are all bearish divergences. People want to short something. Last bullish we had was yesterday morning. That one did really well. This CCI one did okay. About 2%. But had you held on, that would have been a good one. So at this point, you can do your alerts on the divergence. And we've done a couple of those already. And then MFI and RSI as well. Looks like they're following each other pretty well. The MFI is slightly more sensitive. This was oversold on the MFI where it wasn't quite oversold on the RSI. So that would have been a really good entry. Yeah. And I like trading Theta. It's one of my favorites to day trade. So it has nice movement. You just saw that 8% move, 20% here. Of course, it drops too. So it's something you got to be ready to ladder buy if it goes against you, or set a stop loss if you prefer that route. So, all right. Okay, Elaine, instead of going back and forth to your screen, can you look at the sort that we did earlier and find a couple that match up? And we'll look at that. I'll just trust you.
You said over 80, so we don't have very bullish. We've got bullish.
Close enough.
Flow Dapper. Flow,
Right,
FLOW.
Let's look at Flow. I had an alert on this one and I chickened down on it. I was going to short it actually. I chickened out. I've had some.
The AA score is bearish.
It's okay. That happens when AA thinks it's already run its course, and that is something we have to take into consideration. On the day chart, let's get rid of divergence. Trending down hard, but then this move recently looks good. And then this is the pump we've seen. There's some kind of announcement with Flow. I can't remember what it was. They had a new partnership. So we had this big pump. Let's see if it's in the news over here. No, it's not. Yeah, this move yesterday. So is this going to continue? It has, you know, I thought it was going to just drop, and then it did trend up a little bit today. So this might be the new normal, this 275 area between, say, $2.50 and $3 for this token. On the 5, not really seeing a good entry. We're just hanging around the SMA line at the moment. You know, less than 3% between the Bollinger Bands. Not loving that. So we're back to our 15-minute alerts. Divergence. This one did okay. Yeah, 4.5%. We like that in less than an hour. And obviously this one here from August 3rd caught the August 4th pump. You stayed in it overnight. Yeah, that's probably what I would have done. MFI alerts down here yesterday or day before. And this one here yesterday. And then these others did not quite make it down. This one might have. Yeah, this one just did break down. So you could caught this one right about here. And, you know, 3% in a few hours, pretty good. So I think either the divergence alert or the MFI alert would be useful in this situation. You know, we haven't talked about price alerts. You know, some of you guys don't, maybe you're too new to deal with these indicators, and those alerts aren't comfortable for you. So, you know, we can do some basic support and resistance. I'll go ahead and use this line to show you where I see support. You know, right about here. You know, multiple touches towards the downside here, and here, and here in today. So that's 267. So that might be a good entry to get in here. Not financial advice, but you know, you might want to go say half your usual allocation there, and then maybe another, you know, another entry right about here, where there's some more short-term support around 252. So, you know, just looking at support, you know, there's a bunch of touches here from yesterday and a few more here from last night. You know, I would feel comfortable entering there with these two positions. Maybe you catch another pump after that, or it keeps dropping and you're stuck in a ladder buy situation, or, you know, maybe a loss if you know, a conservative way to do this would be to buy here and then use this as your stop loss, maybe a little bit below that. I'll probably do to give it a little bit more room to move just below these swing lows. So you know, maybe you buy here at 267 with your stop loss at about 246. I don't use stop losses in this situation very often. You know, for leverage trading, I'm more inclined to use them, but on spot, you know, hardly ever. So, but then I get stuck sometimes. That's the downside of that approach. Okay, any questions on flow? All right. Well, we're right at about half an hour. We've gone through 4 scenarios. I think that's probably sufficient for our show today with minor technical difficulties. Thanks to Elaine for helping out. Are there any other issues or, you know, crypto day trading or just crypto things in general you want to talk about before we sign off? All right, well, I will stop the recording here. Thank you so much for your attendance today and dealing with a little bit of trouble. If you're watching this on the recording, please check out the opportunities in the comments below. They help fund the channel. Otherwise, also, if you're here for Carbon, I'll take a short break and come back and we'll start that Zoom. Have a great weekend. We will see you next time, hopefully on Monday night.